everyone. For those of you who are following my blog, thank you very much for following my blog. I did wanted to do a follow-up video. I know that because you've seen my last video that I said that bears are in control, which at that time we had a lot of sentiment that the bears are still in control. Well, today what I have to say, bears are starting to lose its leverage. I guess that would be my title. First of all, I've been talking about this VIX here, this weekly chart VIX, that where we have this bullish divergence, right? We have this bullish divergence here. Well, it still looks good. However, one thing concerning to me is that we have what it looks like bearish dark cloud cover / bearish engulfing pattern right at this vicinity here. You can see that, and when we have bearish kind of a candle there at the top of its move, it's not such a good signal. You can see that we had something similar back here. So that is alarming as far as this bearish market is concerned, because obviously if the correction is going to happen, we will need the VIX to go higher. So the question is, well, is this going to come back down and form yet another grind of, weekly divergence, a bullish divergence? For this being weekly, for this being drawn out for so long, that if this do come down and find some support in some of these vicinity and goes back up, we still have a weekly divergence which then never played out, which could play out sometime later but might not this time. You can see that, well, the same argument is true back here. We had a weekly divergence confirming over here, which it looked like we did for a little bit and then came right back down, and then it decided to come out here. Same thing here, we had a divergence in this right there when we did that, but it decided to come back down. We kind of looked like we had a divergence back here. We decided to come back down, and then we had that that breakout in this vicinity. Though this has been so much more drawn out, such a longer duration, so I was kind of thinking that, well, maybe this is it. But given the fact of that candle, we could even come back down, and then we continue to come back down and continue to grind in this vicinity here, and then the MACD coming down yet again, and then hit this support, and then we could have a breakout there. So looking at this this spider chart here, currently you're looking at daily chart. Well, bulls and bears are protecting this 50 EMA level there, but last 2 days that just not enough. This looks more like a bull flag than anything. I mean, this whole week looked like a bear flag, but now this starting to look more like a bull flag here, and then just right at this vicinity here. So I mean, if we put this as a new this support level somewhere here, let me put that right there. You can see that right there. So if that was a new resistance and then becoming an old support maybe, and then that support maybe also becoming, if this was maybe a little bear trap, maybe you can call that, but you know what I mean? Because the thing about that is, what bears need a momentum shifter. What I mean by that is, because I'm talking in this way because we're in such a bullish market. The momentum is still to the upside, so we do have to give the benefit of doubt that if we start to hang around too long without a momentum shifting kind of action. What I mean by momentum shifting is that kind of action. We found kind of a little like a double bottom sentiment there, and it looked bullish. What happened? Bang, right? That's a momentum shifter. It has to happen quick like that, because because we're on a bull market, the longer it hangs around to the sideways, you do have to give benefit of doubt that it could go higher. Just like if you're in the ocean, right? If you're not swimming against the stream, against the tide, if you're just floating around, what is that going to do? It's going to take you to a place or to a direction where the tide is moving. That's a very similar concept here. So unless we get some kind of momentum shifting action, in which I thought, well, after yesterday with some kind of gravestone doji and today gap down, if we had a flush today, right after this gap down here, which could then make some kind of an island reversal, evening star type of pattern, that would really mean a momentum shifting kind of an action there, right under 50 MA, right under this neckline. However, we did not get that. We did not get that, and what we got was just little puny gap down with the doji spin top action, could be possibly known as a bull flag here. So again, well, I guess as long as bears protect this 50 MA, there is chance that we could have a flush tomorrow. Anything can happen in the market, but as far as the probability is concerned, bears are starting to lose that leverage that they had after these kind of run, and after huge volume that we had. I mean, we haven't seen that kind of selling volume in really long time. In really long time, as you can see that we haven't seen this kind of volume over a year period of time. So that's a definitely momentum shifter there. But we needed some follow through. We needed maybe a little bit of a rest and then follow through. We didn't get that. Let's look at weekly chart because week has ended today. Well, we're technically still below 10 EMA, and we were not able to close above 50%. So, you know, we can't really call that a bullish piercing pattern there. But after this kind of move, that won't qualify as a bullish piercing anyway, even if it does. But what I'm looking at as far as the sentiment is concerned, as far as that candle is concerned, because if we're gonna see some kind of candle like that, or like this, or like, you know what I mean, then I would think that maybe this was gonna continue. But with the white candle right there, this reminds me more of this day right here. See that? We did close below 10 EMA. But then we had this right here. We had that kind of a wick here. And then next week we closed above that. And then this trend, you know, did continue. It made a higher high, but essentially created a triple, or the head and shoulders level. We had a huge and fast decline there. And I have a feeling that we're going to possibly, in that mode, obviously follow through, obviously confirmation of the closing above this level right here next week. All resistance, all support, new resistance there. So we close above that, kind of nullified that whole theory there. And closing above 50, a 10 EMA next week would make this thing probably go back and make higher highs here. So let's go back to daily here. So here's a line in the sand here. This is the level that I'll be watching on Monday, Tuesday. We close above this level with a good amount of volume there and good looking candle there. And I have to say that there's high probability that we're gonna at least get up to here and about 166, and we could come back down. And then if this level holds, we could go make higher highs there. So, or if we start closing and then start filling these gaps here, we just start coming down from this level, then we could come down and actually possibly still have this correction that we didn't have. And if that correction happens, it probably come to about 154, I think that here, let me use my chart lines there so I'm not making any mistake here. This is probably the level. So if I just zoom in here real quick, let's see, probably about 154, and then if probably about 154, and then if that level does not hold, about 148, 150 level. If we start to come down from this level, this is a level that many times when the neckline is broken after topping pattern, like, you know, triple top pattern and whatnot, that's a level many times gets retested. And then when that gets hold and get rejected, when the price gets rejected, that's when the true power does come. Same thing, we've seen it back here, and we've seen it back here, in which that coinciding with the 50 MA there, and also that 50 MA right there. But what I am thinking that possibly could happen is that we did have a topping pattern back here, and we broke below that, but we went right back and we held there for 3 days. You see that, 3 days, and then we closed above that, and then we did that. So obviously, looking at the past behavior and past pattern doesn't mean that it's going to play out exactly the way it happened before, but at least we have a roadmap. What possibly behavior we can look for, because they have a different personalities, that it has a similar person, similar behaviors, not because the market has a feelings or emotions or behavior, because the people trade them does. We have emotions and feelings, and because of that, the many times these patterns happen because of fear and greed and emotion and hype, and that's why these buy the dip mentality, it's been working. It's because this market has been training and teaching and encouraging and supporting buying the dip mentality. It's been doing that for over 6-7 months. You would expect that most traders, most investors are continue to do that until something breaks down. So if this doesn't break down here, it will break down at the top. But I do think that we could make higher highs there, and then you could have a bigger topping pattern, something like we seen back here. This was back in 2011 May, something like this. Because we didn't get a correction here, doesn't mean not gonna have a correction. We started pretty much move sideways for a really long time until August or so, September, so till fall. We can do something like that here if we start moving higher from this level. So I thought I'll just kind of give you a little heads up there. And so that's the level that I'm looking for next week. And early as Monday and Tuesday. And we'll probably be able to see that if we close above 50 MA, this neckline Monday, Tuesday with some solid volume, solid candle, we would have to assume that this could continue. However, if bears push this thing down and then we see some flush next week, Monday or even Tuesday, something like this, then the correction could resume. So, well, hopefully this video has been helpful for you, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next week.